Hey, how's it going? This is DJ Sports. We're back again with another episode. It's been a while, so I'm glad to be here with my guys, Bob and Reese. Welcome, guys. It's been a minute, huh?
It's been a while. Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's been a quick minute, man.
Yeah. We're right in the thick of the NFL playoffs. Had a wild card weekend. We're gonna talk all about that and the games we have coming up this weekend. In addition to unfortunately some Lakers basketball talk that we have to. Look at Bob's wall right there. It's a shame. It's a shame what's going on. Anyways, before we get to that, or as a reminder, you can follow us on all of our social media pages, DJ Sports Podcast. Hit us up for any questions, djsportspod@gmail.com. And now it's time for our beer segment. So Reese, please take it away.
Shit, dude. I almost forgot about it.
I totally forgot about it, to be honest.
Bobby, you can just get off then, dude. We don't really need you at this point.
Yeah, I might as well get off then. All right, see you guys.
But Bob just pieces out for the pod. Do you have one, Dev, or no? Am I the only alcoholic on the podcast?
No, I don't today, sorry.
All right. So way to make me feel like shit, guys.
I might have some kombucha in the fridge, some hard kombucha.
Oh,
Dev, you can just leave too. I could just handle this podcast alone, guys. No, I'm just messing around. I got the I know you guys will appreciate the picture of this one. It's got like a fun little, it looks like those like little car mats that we used to like play on. And stuff,
no, it does.
and it's called Bay of Plenty Hazy IPA from Almanac. I want to say Almanac is like a Long Beach or something local. But yeah, Almanac Brewing. Alameda. Where the heck is that?
I think that's up near like Oakland area.
Gotcha.
Mm.
The Bay makes sense then. Bay of Plenty. Ooh, it's honestly super light and like not very like, you know how like hazy IPAs are normally like thick and stuff, like kind of like juicy and stuff. This tastes like a freaking, I don't even know how to describe it.
Is it supposed to be an IPA or?
Yeah, it's a hazy IPA. It's 6.1, so I guess that kind of makes sense. That's pretty light for a hazy IPA, but yeah, it's super light. I feel like I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly, but it's pretty good. I'm gonna give it a two. This has been so long. Is it out of what do I do the ratings out of?
I think it was 10, right?
It was out of 10, right? I thought so. I'm gonna give it like a 6.5.
6.5.
6.5.
Just as average as I can go. So I'm not gonna be too mean on the first podcast, but I probably would not be buying this one again, personally.
So I did grab one. Flying Embers, hard kombucha, grapefruit.
Flying Embers, is that the one that we went to?
Yeah, that's when we were at.
Nice.
Yeah,
You
Bob,
gotta plug that spot.
Bob, you're a fan, right?
Yeah, that place was great, dude.
So kombucha, for those that don't know, it's like I don't know if a lot of people don't know this, but it's like a tea-based thing. So it's kind of interesting mix between, alcohol and tea. Like, let's see how this one tries. I don't remember having grapefruit.
I think I had the grapefruit one when we were there.
Yeah, this is really good.
What do you think?
It feels like refreshing, like kind of like a White Claw, but I think it has a lot more flavor than a White Claw. You can actually taste like the grapefruit in here.
That's like my favorite part about like the hard kombucha is like if you're a seltzer fan, like you almost can't go wrong with like
I think that's like right up your alley. It's like a juicier,
better version of the seltzer. Yeah. Like you can, so seltzers I would say are like alcohol with that little flavor of like raspberry or whatever. But this is like grapefruit that happens to have alcohol, Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the perfect explanation of kombucha.
So we had great IPA. That Reese. Oh, actually, I should give this a rating. Let's see. What was it?
One more for good measure.
I'll give it a 7. Solid 7.
There we go. Bob, what are you giving your water over there, Bob?
Wow, H2O. I don't know. It's not as good as the purified water that I usually have. This is
I was gonna
just
say, did I hear a water bottle crackle over there? We already know.
yeah, it's just that
Was it Arrowhead
basic.
bottle?
Not in that
A bit-
hydro flask, bro.
Yeah, it's like a member's mark. Just
Oh,
like
nice.
regular.
Yo, honestly, those random like off-brand waters are honestly really good
Oh god.
in my experience.
Yeah.
With his top 4 water list.
Anything is other than Arrowhead.
Wait, what were your top 4 waters?
Oh man.
Do you remember?
I know Life Water was up there.
That doesn't surprise me. Was there one that like surprised you?
I was so like I've always hated Arrowhead. So like that was kind of just like, so what I try to do is like, for those that this is like going way off track, but those that don't know, at the top 4 list, and where I was just ranking like top 4, just like whatever, and then water was like a very highly recommended one. So I bought like 8 or 10 different types of bottles from the store, put it in the fridge, and then I wanted to make sure all of them were cold. I tried to like do it all after like an exercise or something, so like kind of the same experiment, but I was surprised, like Essentia is really good. I think that was number 1, or like it was top 2 or something, but that was really good. And I've always been a fan of Dasani. Dasani I think barely made the list, and then I think Smart Water was the last one.
They're all solid waters.
I was
in my
gonna say
opinion.
those are all
Except for the Dasani one. That one goes in the garbage can.
Really?
It surprises me that was up there. I
Have you
feel like
guys had Liquid Death?
what?
Yeah, yeah. I've
Liquid
had-
Death. It's like a canned water. It's straight from like the Alps, dude. And it's honestly it quenches your thirst better than any water, guaranteed.
The Mountain Water one, the white one, is
Mhm.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
So Reese, they like sent us some cans for work, one of our work events, and my boss was telling me that it's like made by these like former like punk rockers or something, or they wanted to basically make water that looked cool, that so people who are like recovering alcoholics or something, they could like, I guess, hold a can like that at shows. If you look at the can, it's kind of like, it looks like a
beer
a
can,
tall
yeah.
can or something, but it's water. So
that's a really cool idea. Okay, I won't talk shit on it then. My bad. I respect it. So that was way off track. My bad. Totally was off on that one.
no, that was great. Always down to talk about water.
Tune in for football. Get a little bit of H2O information.
Yeah, seriously, DJ Sports, you never know. All right, let's get into the football. So the first game on Saturday is the Cincinnati Bengals against the number 1 seed Tennessee Titans. This one, in my opinion, might be honestly one of the most exciting games of the weekend. You have like 2 pretty fun teams. The King is back. Derrick Henry will make his return on Saturday in the playoffs. I'm excited to see how him perform with some fresh legs, and hopefully he's back to being Derrick Henry. So when you guys first take a look at this matchup, what comes out to mind?
I'll go first. I think first thought for me, I think the Bengals is like the hotter team. It's like kind of everyone's talking about the Bengals and Jamar Chase and Burrow, that matchup, that tandem that they have going on. But I don't know, people are kind of quick to forget about the Titans being a number 1 seed, and they did it like half a season without Derrick Henry. So I think having him back is definitely going to be a big like push for them. And personally, I think the Titans come out with it, even though the Bengals seem like the hotter team. I still think like now that the Titans are like back to being healthy, they can kind of show their true strength. And they showed not being at true strength that they could still be a 1 seed. So yeah, I'll take the Titans.
Reese, yeah, do you agree with Bob, or you have a different opinion?
Well, I'm glad that he gave the Titans their flowers in this one, because I feel like they are getting disrespected like to a pretty ridiculous amount. I mean, like at the end of the day, like he said, like they are the number one seed, like as much as we can toot the horn of Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs or, Josh Allen and the Bills and stuff, like Titans beat them through the regular season. And I think, over the course of the season, I don't think many people would argue with the fact that they were probably the better team, even like he said, even without King Henry and stuff. So my only worry is that I don't know how healthy Henry's actually going to be. So I think that's, a pretty reasonable question mark to have going into the game and stuff like that. And I know that they can still get it done with their backups, and they've been proving that they can still get it done with like Foreman and stuff. But I think people are also underestimating the Cincinnati run D too. And I think they're kind of, if anything, like I don't think this Titans team wants to get into a shootout with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And I think that's kind of exactly what the Bengals have like thrived on all year long, is just getting into shootouts with team and either losing them in close fashion or losing them because of inexperience or something like that. But in a game like this, I don't know, man. I trust Joe Burrow. I trust this offense. And as long as it doesn't get ugly early, which we always say with these run teams and stuff like that, then yeah, I think this is a very winnable game for the Bengals. So yeah, I was coming into this easily going to go with the Bengals, but Bobby obviously brings up some pretty decent points about like Derrick Henry, and like if he's on and if he's the Henry that we know, then I mean no defense wants to see him right now. So
Right. And the line is Tennessee 3.5. Does that change anything for you guys?
No, I'll take that all day. I might have to slam that one, Dev.
I was gonna say, if you're betting, I feel like, I mean, that's probably indicative of the fact that nobody knows the health of Henry and stuff, But again, I keep going back to the fact that like this is a top 10 run defense in the NFL. Yards per carry, they're top 3, and then yards per game, I think they're top 10 also. So they are no slouches on that side of the ball when it comes to the run game. And like I said, Ryan Tannehill and that offense do not want to get into a shootout. I don't think that that's a game that they can win, especially with like a week off. It's like Bengals are way more in their stride and stuff like that. So I'm just going a little bit more with the hotter hand there.
Yeah. Reese, I'm gonna side with you. I like the Bengals in this one. A lot of times in playoffs we've seen that not necessarily the best team wins in the NFL, but the hottest team. And I think the Bengals are, as hot as anybody right now. Just the way their season's been going, it just feels to me they're just going to steal this one in Tennessee. Trey Hendrickson's also playing, so that's a huge plus for the Bengals. He's their big. I'm not sure if he's a lineman or a linebacker.
Big question for you though, Dev, because I'm glad that you agree with me, because it's a question that I had like for myself, but it's like, is this almost like, is Joe Burrow's confidence and like this whole idea of like, this is that not like the biggest like trap that gets us in trouble or gets people in trouble in these games all the time,
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. We've seen like it kind of be like like a balloon, like it pops right away. For some reason, it just feels real with Joe Burrow. Like, he has like a crazy statistic where all of the biggest games, basically, of his life, from college to now, he's had like he's an undefeated, has I think 12 touchdowns to zero picks. So that's like the playoff game in college, then the championship in college, and then it was week 16, 17, 18, and then last weekend he had a good game. Not a great game, like amazing game, but like a good game, So I think he's just the type of player who steps up in the biggest moments. He doesn't seem to shy away from it, and I feel like he thrives in games like these. So I think we're gonna see the best, maybe close to Joe Burrow's best. I don't think he's gonna. I mean, I could definitely be eating my words, next week, but I don't think he's gonna throw him out of it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, like you said, I just think, yeah, I'm all in on it and stuff. And if I'm caught on, if I'm basically like caught in that trap and stuff, I'm okay with going down with Joe Burrow in that aspect. I just like, this is either gonna like, this is probably gonna be the game that makes like his stature in the NFL. Like everybody obviously respects him, like, what he's gonna do like in the future and stuff. But the attitude that people have with like a Josh Allen led team or a Pat Mahomes led team right now and stuff. It's like, I think this is going to be the game that turns people over. Like, hey, okay, like when you're looking at the Titans, Bob says like, hey, they got Derrick Henry, but moving forward, we're going to see like, hey, they got Joe Burrow on their
Right.
side of the field. So,
Right. Yeah. Derrick Henry, like his health is, I think, the X factor because
yeah,
he can easily take over a game, with one play. We've seen it before. So, he comes back to the Derrick Henry. No, that's going to be interesting because they really need him to be at his best. Julio hasn't really integrated to this offense. AJ Brown has been basically the only weapon. So, they're going to need all of Derrick Henry they can get.
yeah. 100%. If he's healthy with all the crap people have been talking on them going into this game, that's a chip on the shoulder of that guy in the playoffs is kind of a scary thought. So it's going to be fun. I'm really excited for this one. Fun way to start it.
Yeah.
Yes, we got to see. I mean, you guys got to give me a chance to come in after you guys going on 5 minutes about the Bengals.
Bob, please.
Look, I mean, you guys have good points about like how great Joe Burrow is. Don't get me wrong, I love Joe Burrow, and especially that partnership he has with Jamar Chase. I think that's going to be a big partnership for years to come. That's going to be one of the better ones. But at the end of the day, like I don't know if you guys saw the Raiders Bengals game. They didn't they didn't handle the Raiders like they were nothing. The Raiders were able to run the ball and they were able to pass on them, but on both sides. So I feel like the Titans are a whole better team than the Raiders, like top to bottom, even without, Derrick Henry. They've done it all year. So, and I think they're a more established team on the playoffs too, like with Mike Vrabel as like a coach. He's I don't know, I might be wrong, but I saw the stat like the other day on ESPN about how like a game where he has a bye, he's like 4-0 or something. So like when he has time to prepare, he's definitely like, shows up ready. So
Okay.
That's Mike Vrabel, the head coach you were saying.
Yeah.
That I mean, that's exactly what I was trying to get at with like the whole like this feels like a little bit of a trap game, like I'm okay, like I said, I'm okay with going down fighting with Joe Burrow if it is and stuff, but it like my mantra has always been in the playoff, I listen to Head Smarter Than Me and stuff, and they always say like, the interior wins and the run, it comes down to old school football in the playoffs to really win, like cool, you can get a win in the wild card round, but we're talking about divisional AFC championship, like playing in the games that really matter. And that's what I mean. I'm a little nervous about that whole aspect of it and stuff, but it's going to be, I just think these two teams, like whichever side you're on, you have so many cases as to like why that, like, I don't know. Neither one of these teams are like super set up to like shut down the other or like completely like obliterate the other team. So it's going to be like a lot of fun.
Yeah, like you said, Reese, a good way to start off.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the next one. You guys have anything else on Bengals Titans?
No, nothing else to say.
All right, next one is going to be another great one. We got the San Francisco 49ers going into Lambeau against the Green Bay Packers. Packers are favored by 5.5. We've seen the Packers be the top seed all year. The Niners have been pretty hot as of late. This is going to be a great matchup. Great defense against a great offense. Bob, why don't you start us off? Which way are you leaning on this one?
For me, I'm going with the Packers. I think they're going to take their lesson that they got last time from the 49ers and try to redeem themselves. So I think what Rees was trying to say about this might be a trap with the Bengals. I kind of feel like people are going to do the same with the 49ers. Like they're kind of like a fan favorite right now. They're especially like with the winning streak that they're on. And I don't know that they have to travel into Lambeau after 6 days after going to the Cowboys. I think that's going to be a tough task to overcome, especially against a Rodgers-led team that's looking, I don't know, like fine-tuned on both sides of the ball, especially in their passing game and in their running game. They have a duo with, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. That's going to be a huge problem for them. And another thing to consider is the 49ers are not completely, healthy. I think Bosa is dealing with concussion. One of the defensive ends has like an ankle issue or
Fred
something.
Warner.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a tough task to, go into Lambeau Field with, those injuries consider, and Garoppolo's injured too. So for me, I'm gonna stick with the Pack on this one.
Bob, let me ask you, so you're picking the Pack, but do you think the Niners can cover 5.5?
No, I think the Pack give it to the Niners in this one. It's gonna be like a statement, redeem game for the Rodgers, especially after what they not it was last year the Niners did that to them, right?
No, 2 years ago, I
Oh,
believe.
2 years ago.
Last
Yeah,
year was the Buccaneers, yeah.
okay, yeah, 2 years ago, with Mostert running like 210 yards or whatever.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Who was it last year that gave it to the Packers though?
The Buccaneers.
The Bucks. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, I agree with Bob on this one. I know a lot of people are giving the Niners a pretty good shot, and I don't think that this is necessarily going to be a blowout or anything, but I don't know how they stop Aaron in this one. And I think eventually that luck may run out for the Packers, where they may have to start to rely on some other things. Like you might need to get one of those big Aaron Jones games. You might need this defense to step up type of thing. But I don't think that this is really the game that the Packers, not that they don't need to be worried about it or anything, but I don't think Packer fans, other than like history's sake and stuff like that, should be like too frightful of this particular 49ers team. That's a head coach who doesn't have a whole lot of confidence in his quarterback. I mean, Jimmy's definitely doing his best to gain it these past couple of weeks and stuff, but like Bob said, I think just the injuries and just kind of the issues that we heard coming out of San Francisco like all year long that have kind of been masked by these like big wins these last few weeks. I think those are really going to pop up in this game and stuff. I don't know how Jimmy throws in the cold. I don't know. I mean, eventually somebody's going to freaking stop Deebo Samuel. Somebody's going to figure out that this guy can't do freaking everything on offense. And I just think Packers kind of handle this one.
Do you think they cover 5.5?
5.5? Yeah, I think they do. I think it'll be a good game. I don't think this is going to be a Rams Cardinals that we're almost wanting to turn off after 6 minutes and stuff. But yeah, I think Packers handle this one pretty easily. Especially like I said, I think Aaron Rodgers he's got a lot to prove. He's still playing like a freaking MVP. So getting his big guy back up front with Bakhtiari and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. This isn't gonna be the best conversation, but yeah, I'm obviously taking the Packers too. I feel like the Niners are set up though to, they run the ball a lot. You keep Rodgers on the sideline, have a strong defense. If we're getting a giant game from Eli Mitchell, things could get interesting. But I feel like this Packers team is even better than the Packers teams from a couple of years ago. AJ Dillon, they seem to really figure out a role for him. He's been dominating over the last like month of the season. So, just having that combo of him and Aaron Jones takes a lot of pressure off Rodgers. Even Lazard's been picking it up, and like, you have all these weapons along with Devontae, and it makes them tough to beat. So I'm taking the Packers too, but I do think the Niners cover 5.5. I think it'll be a close game. They'll be able to like keep it somewhat low scoring, run keep Rodgers off the field. But I think the Packers will come away with this one.
I just hope the Niners, personally as a fan, I just hope the Niners are healthy in this one. I mean, particularly just Bosa and Warner and stuff, and just at least to make it fun to see. Like, you want to see the best go against the best, and it's always fun to see a guy like Nick Bosa in the playoffs. A young talent and stuff get to go against someone that he's probably always wanted to take down on the stage and stuff. So
Right. Yeah, I agree. I hope him and Fred Warner are both healthy. Should make for a good game.
yeah, no, I think you're right. I hope it'll be a good game and stuff. I just hope it'll be a good game all the way until zeros, you know.
Yeah. So Sunday, the first game we have is the LA Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Before we start on this game, how fun was being at SoFi? You know,
That was awesome. SoFi is, I don't know how many, I don't know how many people have actually like been able to go and stuff, but that is an incredible stadium, and the Super Bowl is going to be a freaking show there.
Oh, yeah. I wish we could weasel our way in there, but I don't know if you guys have what $5,000 to spend.
I was gonna say for your cheapest nosebleed, if you have that spare change laying around.
Yeah, I just can't, like, it's just gonna be a straight up party in there. It felt like a party when we were there on Monday. You know, the game was a blowout, like after the first quarter, and I don't think we returned to our seats after like sitting them for like 10 seconds. So
Yeah.
Literally, Deb and I were sitting in our seats for a good 3 minutes. We're like, so you want to just go back to the bar right now?
Like, it's like so easy to get down. Like, there's bars everywhere. You know, like plenty of space to hang out and like.
Yeah, everyone's just standing around. Like, I feel like maybe like half the stadium's just walking around during the game.
It's what it's made for. You know, the stadium's made for hang out, come and have a good time instead of come and pay all this money to sit in your seat for 4.5 hours. You know,
right?
It's like a giant beer garden.
Yeah, like that's a great way to describe it. You know, shout out to Troy, Keanu, and Gabe. We saw them.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Timon. I love that he was rocking the Mahomes jersey, just going off on Mahomes.
Out like a sore thumb.
Dope, Sam.
That was great. But yeah, great time. You know, sorry about the Cardinals. That was a tough loss for them. But you know, Kyler's and Cliff Kingsbury have come through a lot of heat after that one. You know, I think it's kind of similar to what we saw before when Lamar got bounced from the playoffs. I think Kyler will definitely bounce back. You know, he's too talented. But Cliff Kingsbury, do you guys feel like after this season, his seats should be a little warm, you know, mild, or like, how do you feel about that?
Can I speak first on this, Bob? Because I'm very passionate on this subject.
Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
I don't know if you guys remember getting my text earlier in the year about this guy, Cliff Kingsbury. First of all, do you guys remember the draft when this guy was drafting from his home in Arizona, kicking back? And everyone was going crazy about the beautiful home he has, right? And then right in the middle of the season, right when the Cardinals were, I think that at the time they only had one loss. They might have had 2 losses, but one of the best teams in the NFL, looking like you know, Kyler Murray's looking like a freaking MVP favorite and stuff. And what does Cliff Kingsbury do but go to the freaking media and start talking? Yeah, thank you for pulling up that picture. Cliff Kingsbury goes to the media and starts flirting with the questions about all of this stuff with him going back to college and stuff because he wants a pay raise, right? And I get it. Like, you know, in your respective jobs and stuff like that, these guys make a lot of money. He could be making more compared to other guys, whatever. And so what has Cliff Kingsbury freaking proven in the NFL other than he can be really good over the first 8 games of a season? You know, thank you for bringing that big screen. This guy earlier in the season at 9-1, I believe, was complaining in the media, not complaining, but flirting in the media, playing stupid games about, you know, oh, like, yeah, maybe I'll take the Oklahoma job. Maybe I'll do this because he can get paid more money there and stuff. When he's got a freaking
MVP. He looks like he's not, you know, dealing with any money issues.
Thank you. He looks like he's doing all right there. It's like, hey, dude, maybe get a couple more freaking TV screens in there. Do a little bit more freaking homework towards the second half of the season and stop flirting with the freaking college jobs, because Oklahoma is looking at Cliff Kingsbury and they got the same questions that everybody else in the NFL has about him. It's like, this guy can't finish a freaking season. So yeah, all the crap he's getting, I think, is completely well-deserved, not only for the performance down the stretch, but like the immaturity of the way he just handled this whole contract situation in the middle of the season when they're 9-1, when he has one freaking job. And then that one job spirals into freaking, what is it, like losing 5 of 6 down the stretch or something like that, including that awful performance. So yeah, Kyler can bounce back from it, but Cliff has a lot to prove coming in the next season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you for letting me get that off my chest.
No, you're good, dude. Yeah.
Bob, how do you feel?
Yeah, no, I think Reese hit it on the nail on the head on that one. I just at some point, you need to get results, and they've shown signs, but yeah, obviously they're not just trying to make it to the playoffs; they're trying to do more. So I think he has this next season to really prove that he can make a playoff run. If he can, then he's gone. So I think
Yeah,
simple as that for me.
they have a lot of talent. So when you have a lot of talent, don't get results, then that's when your seats starts getting the temperature starts going up.
Just because I'm a nice guy and I don't like ripping people, I will say, like, if you judged Cliff Kingsbury in the NFL and stuff like that, like he's on, like, the Cardinals have only gotten better every single year. They've only improved every single year. Kyler Murray is, from last year to this year, having a little bit of MVP conversation. It's only getting better, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to be elite and you want to have elite players, you gotta, get it done when it counts. And his track record is awful in that sense.
So Reese, do you feel like they should fire him now, or like another first round exit?
No. God, no. I think firing him now would be pretty hard. I mean, unless you have someone lined up that you really, really like, and maybe Arizona, maybe that front office does, maybe they have, a head coach in waiting that they really think could take them to the next level. But like I said, given his track record, the holes are obvious and the questions with his coaching are pretty damn obvious, and it's finishing a season, and I think if they can address that this offseason, it's like, why not bring in like, I'm struggling to think of a specific coach on the market right now that has like head coaching experience that can like actually, like, I mean, if a Mike McCarthy gets fired, something like why not bring that guy in like an advisory role in the front office, just for Cliff Kingsbury to turn to and be like, what am I freaking doing wrong in, weeks 11 through, now 18 or whatever. So no, I think firing him right now would be pretty harsh. Those meetings, like, we can talk all we want and stuff, but those meetings that he's having with his bosses, that they're not happy with him about how he handled that contract situation, and he's probably not getting a pay raise this offseason, so no, I think it would be harsh, but like I said, I think he has a lot to prove next season. And if things go south, or if that relationship turns a little sour, it's like, yeah, I don't see why they would waste Kyler Murray's career, I think he's the more important factor there. So, and the front office realizes that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's your franchise quarterback.
Yeah. Now would be too soon though, right, Bob?
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I said give him another year. Hopefully, DeAndre Hopkins can stay healthy, and they can make a more considerable run. But I still don't think. I mean, they would have to at least get to the second round for him to stay, because that's at some point, I don't know.
A playoff win, and just don't. I mean, they don't need to come out and be a 9-1 team next year, but just don't have a crappy second half of the season. Like, they're in a good division too, so it's so tough for them. But the Super Bowl's in Phoenix next year, so I'm sure that front office and that organization has the same goals in mind that the Rams did with the Stafford trade, and really selling out not only to get to the big game like everybody is, but the timing of that is definitely in their minds, I think. So
So let's get to the game. We got the Rams, the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are favored by 3 points playing in Tampa Bay. I think you guys can guess how I'm leaning towards, but want to hear your thoughts. I think this is gonna be a really good matchup. Two good offenses, two good defenses. So, best on best as a playoff should be.
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, for me, I think the Rams pulled out mainly because their defense is not as injured, and the Bucks have been kind of like, skimping along with their injuries. And I think when you meet a team like the Rams, that's, have superstars on both ends of the field, kind of like how they did, I think it's gonna cause some issues, especially for their defense. I don't know how they're gonna be able to stop that aerial attack um, with Cup. OBJ's playing OBJ of old, and yeah, so I feel bad. They always say don't bet against Brady, but I think the Rams are just too good this year, and I'll take the Rams, the +3 from you.
This one makes me nervous because just like Bobby said, never bet against Brady. And every single time you do in the playoffs, you bet your ass. So I think I'm gonna bet against Brady. I just think like all the questions coming in with the health of the Bucks. I mean, even before the playoffs started, we were questioning the health of the Bucks. And then if Tristan Wirfs isn't healthy, then yeah, I'm leaning towards the Rams. If he is healthy, then I don't want to bet against Tom Brady and stuff like that. But I think he is what he is, especially at this age, because of that offensive line, because of the way that they've been able to protect him. And if you can't find a way to stop Aaron Donald and Von Miller, or if you're unhealthy in doing so, the way that Ryan Jensen is going to be, and the way that Tristan Wirfs maybe if he can play, yeah, it makes me nervous. So I think the Rams are perfectly set up to win in this one. And the only offensive weapon that he does have right now is Mike Evans. And is Leonard Fournette playing?
He's questionable, I think.
He's questionable, right? Okay, so Mike Evans is for sure playing, and that, like, okay, that's the one guy that he can trust on, other than Gronk.
Gronk too, right?
Yeah, other than Gronk. But it's like that's the one guy he can like trust on the outside and stuff. With all those weapons going down and stuff, he can still trust Mike Evans. But I was seeing all these stats about like Jalen Ramsey's ridiculous track record against Mike Evans, especially in their last like few meetings together. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I think Jalen Ramsey I just think this defense is playing at a level that, defenses win championships. And we always talk about these great defenses who have elite playoff performances and stuff. And I think the Rams are perfectly set up to do that, especially after a crazy performance that basically won them the game against the Cardinals. So yeah, I like the Rams and 110% because of that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take the Rams too. So the last 2 times we've played them, we've beaten the Brady Buccaneers, and the pass rush, got to Brady, and we know that's like basically the only way to beat him. That's how the Giants beat him, in those Super Bowls. The defensive line has to take over, and I think we're in perfect position to do that. All the injuries, as you guys mentioned, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, is doing damage. He knows it's playoff time. That's just why he was brought in, right? Games like these, so I think they can just wreck the game. And losing Chris Godwin, I just saw that Leonard Fournette's pretty doubtful. So, those are big losses. They're gonna have to rely on Giovanni Bernard. Is Ronald Jones gonna play?
No, he's hurt too.
Yeah, I think
believe.
he's for sure out.
I believe.
Yeah. So yeah.
So a lot of things stacked up against Tampa, even though they're at home. And their secondary has, been giving up a lot of yards all season long. And I think Stafford will exploit that. So yeah, we'll take the Rams on Sunday.
Yeah. I think it can't be understated how well OBJ is just like fitting in. We got to see it firsthand the other day. This guy he's really out there, and he's like passionate about what he's doing. You could tell he's emotional in the game, and that just brings a whole nother factor to the team.
Right. He stepped up so admirably so far in the absence of Robert Woods. He really was a perfect piece that we've been missing. Right now I'm looking at his numbers. So he has 6 touchdowns already in the 8 games he's played for the Rams, which is, great numbers. Him and Stafford, like they just have chemistry already, which is great to see. He's been in the team for less than 2 months. And we knew the talent was there. He's been a superstar in this league. He's only 29 years old. So yeah, great to see him perform. And he's this is like probably the biggest game of his life. So I think he's gonna be ready to put on a show.
Yep.
100% agree. I think Sean McVay going against Tom Brady with this quarterback is feeling pretty damn good too.
Yeah, betting against Brady is always a dangerous proposition. We know what he can do.
Hey, betting against Brady at 43, 40, 43, 44? How old is this fucker now? Betting on Brady at this age is a little bit safer than betting against Brady from 24 to 42, 43, whatever he is.
44. I can't believe he's still doing it.
44. Oh my God. Respect. The fact that this Rams team, and coming into the playoffs, I think, we have a little bit of bias. Bobby and I have a little bit of bias just being on the West Coast, being in LA and stuff. And then Dev obviously has a huge bias, but a lot of people that I was talking to, just New York and stuff like that. I have a coworker. He was really down on the Rams. He was basically, when he was talking about the Cowboys-Niners matchup, he was saying, how the hell are that? He admitted that the Cowboys are crap. But he was like, the Niners could barely beat the Rams team or something like that. It was basically the point he was making. I was like, damn, that's an interesting point about the Rams that I didn't, I think we have this West Coast bias for them that they have Stafford, they have all this firepower. They were not playing that well coming into this postseason. And in that one matchup, I think they changed a lot of people's minds about what kind of team they could be, what kind of team they could be today. So, I find that super interesting. Like Deb said, you play the hot hand, and this Rams team is almost perfectly set up to win this game, and still a 44-year-old Brady is scaring the shit out of us.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. It's insane.
Reese, would you be surprised if I told you the Rams had 12 wins in the regular season?
They had 12 wins in the regular season, but they weren't. I don't think that anybody was confident. Okay, I think more so the worry and the questions and the negativity around this team was probably more so because of the expectations that this was absolutely supposed to be a Super Bowl team. They were supposed to have one of the best defenses in the league. They were supposed to have, Matt Stafford is supposed to be an MVP candidate and stuff like that. And I mean, I think a lot of people, I think the biggest question was on Stafford that I don't like. And maybe this is a conversation for a whole nother pod and something that I want to pick your brain about, Dev, but I don't think Stafford these last 6 weeks has really been a guy that you could be yeah, that's going to be our Super Bowl winning quarter. I think he definitely showed flashes of it throughout the season, especially with the whole Cooper Cup thing and stuff. But there was, I'm trying to think of the,
You're talking about the 3 games in a row where he threw a pick 6 in the first quarter.
I was gonna say, was that the wait, say that again?
You're trying to talk about how he hasn't been playing that well. I was pointing out how he's thrown pick 6s in
was that
4 or 5 last games.
3 games in a row, but it was the pick 6s that were I think honed in on, especially you're gonna find anything to talk crap on when a guy is traded for at that value, when he's put that pressure on and stuff. But even me with my West Coast bias, I'm always ready to root for the Rams and stuff. I wasn't confident in Matt Stafford and how he was going to lead this team to the Super Bowl or anything, I didn't have that mindset coming in. I mean, even after that first game, I still don't necessarily have that mindset, but now it's more so, does he need to be that guy? He genuinely just needs to be better than what Jared Goff was. And I thought Jared Goff in that Super Bowl run played magnificently for that offense and stuff, but it's essentially Matt Stafford, like Dev said, he just needs to have like one game where he's like the X factor, and that's going to change everything. Is that this game? Is he going to outduel Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game? Like I don't know what it is, but yeah, I just think there was a lot of negativity that was probably pretty well founded that we weren't giving credit to for the Rams, and we're probably still not. Like that one game masked it all, even being there.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of questions around this team still, I think.
I still have those questions completely about Matt Stafford. I don't know. I don't trust him as a lot of, I don't know, other LA people or people from the West Coast do. But I still think at the end of the day, the Rams they have like such a well-built team that they could still come back from something like that. And especially considering how the Bucs is set up as a team, I think their defensive backs are just gonna, be outclassed, I guess, in a sense, with OBJ and Cup on the field.
Yeah. No, Cup's a different monster this year too.
Yeah,
I don't know. And that last game that the Rams lost to the Niners, were they sitting their players in the second half, or did they get hurt? Or
no, I think everyone was basically playing. It was just,
they were playing for
lost the lead.
seeding.
they were playing for
Yeah, they're
seed?
playing for seeding
Okay.
because Rams would have been the second seed if they won that game.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the Niners just came back. The defense just couldn't hold Jimmy. But Matt Stafford threw 8 picks in the last 4 regular season games. So if you get that Stafford, then obviously Rams will be in some trouble. You can't turn the ball over against Tom Brady. But the thing is, like, the playoffs are basically everything, right? So the whole narrative of Stafford this season is going to depend on if this is the last game of the season, then it'll be like, oh, he just needs to play better, couldn't get it done. But if they win, then on to the next one until the Super Bowl or until they lose, right? So the story will be written, I guess, in the next couple of weeks is what I'm trying to say, in how the season went, because this is all that matters.
The Rams game plan, I think, is one of the most intriguing like aspects to this whole weekend too, because they won last game. Like we all thought, like, okay, if Rams beat the Buccaneers, Matt Stafford's gonna have to throw that ball like probably 30 to 40 times in order for them to win that game. But they just won with him throwing the ball 17 times, completing 13 passes, and Cam Akers, coming back healthy and looking like he can be a factor. So I don't know. I just think it's going to be interesting. Like, do they go crazy, feed the ball to Cam Akers, keep Tom Brady off the field? Is that their game plan, or do they say like, hey, this is the game we ride on Stafford? I don't know. It's going to be fun to kind of watch how that game script goes in the first quarters.
And I'm glad you brought up Cam Akers, because I do think he's an X factor. He came back like ridiculously fast from a nasty injury, and he showed no wear and tear basically. Had 90 total yards in the last game, so he can run on it. It makes things easier for Stafford. Then it changes the whole offense.
Yeah.
So that's the point you said about this, like the story still out in Stafford it's so true, because if he comes in this game and he plays well, has a couple touchdowns, no picks, then people are going to say it's a great season for him. But if he comes in and throws picks and struggles, then I think they're just going to talk about how he's throwing picks at the end of the regular season, how
he's not a winner, he
Mhm.
can't get it done, all that stuff.
Yeah. But I think what you said about how they're gonna game plan it, I personally think that they're gonna like play that type of Rams football where they just throw quick screens and get the ball on the outside, because they have the Bucks have like a really great front like 7 for defensive, like Vega in the middle, and they have other guys, but they can get on the outside with their speed guys, put Cam Akers in a screen, or Odell, or even Cup.
But then that's a lot of isn't that a lot of linebacker matchups and stuff with Lavonte David and Devin White?
Yeah.
So but that's fun. Like that's exactly what we want in like playoff football, right?
Yeah.
That
It's
would
gonna be interesting, dude.
So much fun.
I think the Bucks game plan is just gonna try to get to Stafford and kind of get him like upset and like
Yeah.
kind of throw some picks and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Rattle Stafford, I think, is going to be every team's game plan.
yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We're all taking the Rams.
Yeah, I think
No
so.
boring.
So the last game, which is honestly, I think the toughest one to pick for me, the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are only favored by 1.5 points in Arrowhead.
So they're not favored.
Yeah, I mean, you can call that a favorite. I'm gonna let you guys take it first because I don't know which way I'm going with this. So
Reese, you go first.
You guys suck. No, I mean, this one's gonna be awesome. The Bills with one of the top defenses in the NFL and playing potential. I don't know if it's confirmed, but the NFL's first ever perfect offensive game. Every single drive ending in a touchdown until they kneeled it at the end. No punts, no fumbles, no turn, nothing. It was just pure Josh Allen and Bills dominance, and an offense that's clicking at that level with a defense that can hold their own is, a really freaking scary team. But somehow that team is the road team in the playoffs, in the divisional round of the freaking playoffs. So that just goes to show, I think, how important the regular season is. But the Chiefs, I mean, I feel like both of these teams can kind of look at themselves and say, hey, nobody wants to play us, and say that really freaking confidently, but then also look at the other side of the field and be like, yeah, I don't want to freaking play them though. Like they're both just equally as freaking scary, equally as terrifying right now. And I still don't really know who to pick in this. I'm going with my original thing before the playoffs. I'm going with the Chiefs, but after that Bills performance, truthfully, every single bit of me wants to say that that defense can absolutely go into Arrowhead, cause freaking problems, and Josh Allen is playing, and that offense are playing as good as anybody in the NFL. So it's going to be an absolute freaking dogfight.
So you're taking the Chiefs?
Shit, dude, I wasn't ready for this. Like before the playoffs, in my playoff bracket, I had Chiefs Packers. I had this matchup and I had Chiefs, winning. But that last performance by the Bills, it blew me away. And as good as the Chiefs played on record here, I'll go with the Bills, to be honest. Just because I have the ability to change it now, and it's not my freaking playoff bracket, and this is a today thing. I'm going I trust the Bills more today, and this whole week I have. So,
yeah. Well, for me, I don't know, man. It's tough to say, dude. I think the Bills have. I would think the Bills is a safer pick, but the thing about this matchup that makes it so tough is that both these teams know each other really well. They're like really familiar with each other. They just played each other last year in the playoffs. There's that famous picture of Stephon Diggs that's still on the field and stuff like that. So this is still like ripe for a lot of the Bills players and whatnot. But I still feel like the Chiefs have an upper hand. I don't know. That's just my gut feeling. So I don't know. What I feel like is gonna happen is that the Bills are gonna come in and they're gonna be up and they're gonna stick it to the Chiefs, but they're not gonna be able to close it out. And the Chiefs are gonna make a comeback and do their typical Chiefs nonsense and pull out a win. So
honestly, Bob, I feel like that's exactly what the NFL wants. That would make for like a perfect freaking entertainment movie script right there.
I don't want to be super basic and say it's going to come down to big plays and stuff, but I really do think it's going to be a 1 or 2 play type of thing that calls this game. So
it's going to be 1 or 2 plays that we focus on out of 50 phenomenal ones.
Yeah.
How much stock do you guys take into the regular season game when they play each other? and the Bills won in Arrowhead. It was a blowout too.
I take more stock in what Bobby said about, I think he brought up a great point about how well these teams know each other. It's not just that game, it's the AFC Championship game before that. And then I think, didn't they play each other in the regular season that season? You know, they played each other like back-to-back regular seasons plus back-to-back playoffs or something like that. So I think the familiarity of these teams, these two quarterbacks, I wish I had it in front of me, but I want to say that they played each other 4 times in the series split because the Bills mopped them this year, right?
Yeah.
Or is it like 5 times and the Chiefs are up, or Mahomes is up 3-2, but whatever it is, that they're super familiar with each other, like Bobby said, and it's all within the last 2 or 3 years. So I think all of that comes way more into play than a struggling Chiefs team. I mean, the Bills freaking lost 9-6 to the Jaguars like 5 weeks ago. I don't know if that was that recently. It felt like it was that recently, but like the Bills have had their fair share of struggles. The Chiefs have had their fair share of struggles, and I feel like I don't want to listen to anything for these teams over the last like 3 weeks. Like that. Those are the teams that they are today, in my opinion.
Got it. So, Bob, you were gonna say something about coaching?
No,
Coaching
yeah,
matchup.
yeah. Just kind of more of the same. I just want to touch on how I just feel like it's going to come down to a couple trick plays here and there from either coaches because they're going to be pretty much ready for everything that they got on both sides. So we might see like another Travis Kelce touchdown pass for a touchdown or something.
Yeah, I mean, you love to see like Andy Reid really loves just just experimenting at the goal line and thinking of like the most interesting plays. I wish more coaches did that because it's pretty tough to score at the goal line on those like third and goals, fourth and goals, especially the even 2-point conversions. Like why not dial something up like that's not the same old play, but so
Yeah.
I appreciate that he does look into that. And in regards to my pick, this has been so tough. I've been going back and forth basically all week on who I like in this game.
Make a
Reese,
call, Dev.
I think you
Yeah, sorry. No, I was just laughing because all of us, when we had to stop and make our pick, just like we did not want to make it for this game at all.
It's so hard. Oh man. Like what do I see happening? Is Josh Allen gonna come in? Is this the year the Bills will make the Super Bowl? Is it more Chiefs dominance? I'm just stalling if you guys can tell.
As long as he possibly can.
Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna take the Chiefs. Solely based on the fact that the Bills already won in the regular season, and I think it's very difficult to beat a team twice, especially at home twice. So I think I'll take the Chiefs. Mahomes and Tyreek, they haven't lost against an AFC opponent in the playoffs yet. I believe in Mahomes' playoff career. No, that's not true. They lost to Brady and the Patriots. So that's the only year that Mahomes has lost to an AFC opponent. And I think, this will be a close game, obviously. And I think the Chiefs will barely scrape by.
So you have Chiefs Bengals.
Chiefs Bengals in the AFC title game.
And then you have Rams Niners.
Rams Packers.
Yeah, Packers too.
I think we all have Rams Packers, right?
Yeah.
And then who took the Chiefs? One of you guys did, right?
I took the Chiefs.
Okay. So Reese took the Bills. Bob took the Chiefs. Bob, I think you have a Titans Chiefs AFC title game.
Yes, indeed.
So that that was it for the playoffs. Gonna be a great weekend. I love the divisional round because you get 4 games and it's like, obviously the 8 best teams left in the playoffs. Always a fun weekend. Conference championship is good too, but like you just get half the games, even though those are the most important. So with that, we got to go to our Laker talk. It's been a rough season so far, for Lakerland, Laker fans everywhere.
I wish there was just like some sad music in the background right now.
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Do you guys ever you guys watch Arrested Development?
Wait, I'm trying to get the music right now.
44 games in, 45 games in, Lakers are 22-23, currently sitting in 8th place, 13 and a half games out of first. You know, with the play-in tournament, we're squarely in the play-in tournament. We'd be playing the Timberwolves right now for that spot if the playoffs started today. Not exactly what Laker fans were thinking or expecting before the season started. But Bob, you were there yesterday when the Lakers had arguably the worst loss of this whole season against a 15-29 Indiana Pacers team. I mean, just take it away. What happened?
Oh, well, what happened in the Pacers game kind of is just a microcosm of the whole season. I would say it was mainly Vogel and his lineup decisions were, less than great or optimal. He started he started Trevor, Ariza, Avery Bradley, and Russ all in the starting lineup. And
Sorry, Bob.
oh jeez. But you're gonna make me terrible over this. But yeah, dude, it was just and towards the end of the game it was kind of we had a good run like in the third quarter, but we kind of just started settling towards the end. Carmelo started to he felt like he was hot and took a couple threes, and next thing you know we were down by 6 or 7, and yeah, at that point we weren't ready to make a comeback. But it's more of the same of what we've seen throughout the whole season. It's just Vogel has this idea of what he wants on the floor, and I can see what he's thinking. He wants to put out like a defensive lineup, or something. But it's just it doesn't. There's no camaraderie when we play, and people are being hard on him right now. But I think it's pretty justified because this isn't, like I said, this isn't new. Like we've been questioning his lineup calls for years now, and it's kind of slowly getting worse. So, and this isn't to say that I don't like Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel's brought us a chip. He's done great things for us, but there's a time where your message doesn't really come across, and his defensive message isn't really working. So, I think it's maybe time to bring someone else in that can kind of give us some new energy. But and as far as the players that we have, I think we could win with them. It's just the way that Frank plays basketball. It's not going to be able to work with Frank. So we're gonna have to get someone different. I can keep going if you guys want me to keep going, but I think I should stop there.
You know, Frank is. Go ahead, Reese.
No, go ahead. I want to hear your point.
You know, obviously, there's a lot of problems. Frank is at the center of it, but I think he's kind of being the scapegoat now because with these LeBron teams, the coaches always get blamed first. We've seen it in Miami, like even Eric Spoelstra was getting a lot of criticism, when they were struggling for a little bit, and then obviously with David Blatt in Cleveland, he got bounced. So I think it's really easy to blame Vogel, and like he's definitely part of the problem, but I think there's a lot more issues. Like this roster, like if you look at the team, I really don't think it's constructed at all for like a championship contender right now. A lot of old players, as we know. But not only that, like we have, no defense to really rely on. Offense inconsistency. We don't really have a lot of shooters who can consistently shoot threes, which you obviously need in the NBA today. So Frank, like, he's just kind of given a bad hand. And I think, if we bring in a coach, like who like is gonna come in and like really fix this mess, in my opinion. Like that's just the one thing I would say. You know, if you want to blame LeBron, blame Russ for how he's playing. Like, I think they deserve some of it too. But obviously, Frank is.
You can't blame LeBron at all. This guy's playing like an MVP, bro. You
But
can't say he's not playing
I'm
well.
not. I
but
don't. I
you
don't
can
blame
blame him for the
LeBron James.
preseason stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame LeBron James, the basketball player. I
Not,
blame
yeah.
LeBron James, the general manager.
Yeah, that the jury's still out on that for me, but it's just we've shown signs that we could play. Like, I mean, Carmelo's shooting like 40% from three. Malik Monk's averaging like almost 18 points. And we have some guys like Austin Reeves and THT or some young talents, but it's kind of it's like an organizational thing. Like he puts out these lineups that there's no way that even a fifth grader will understand that it's not going to work when you have three defensive guys, LeBron
But
and then
but but
Wyatt
that fifth
on
grader
lineup.
that fifth grader was agreeing with that lineup. It was winning us a championship in the bubble, right?
But that's different.
Like,
The only reason that's different is because that was a point when like that team kind of suited Frank a lot better in the sense that there were a lot of guys that I don't know, like they didn't need like rhythm. It was just they just played like their position,
so
and it's
so if the head coach is then like I agree that team did fit Frank, that team suited Frank perfectly and stuff. Like, I think that okay. The point that I was always going to make, and I think you guys know that I was going with this, was like I think Deb hit the nail on the head there with like if you fire him, your problems are not solved, just like that kind of whole mentality and stuff like that. But it's like, Bob, I think you made a lot of the points too. And it's like, I get that something has to change, first of all. And something having to change probably means somebody's who's currently a Lakers player or employee is not going to be that very shortly. But in my opinion, like, I think the front office did a really shitty job of putting a team together for their head coach. Like you said, like you mentioned, like, and I wrote down points that both of you guys meant, like Deb brought up shooters and like, all of that kind of stuff. Bob, you brought up like camaraderie and like defense and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, that's like everything we were as a team, it's like, you can't just put together a bunch of misfits and just hope that they're going to freaking go out there and win you a freaking Larry O'Brien trophy. Like we've seen as Laker fans, it's a lot freaking harder than that, and
yeah.
maybe Kobe and then LeBron have kind of made us a little bit like not spoiled, but just like we get so used to like, oh, like we can do it without looking at like the things that really make that up. And it's like, I get that Frank is probably going to get fired. And on that day, I hope that most Laker fans would be freaking sad, not celebrating like, yeah, like this is a win for Laker Nation. It's like, nah, like this is a shitty thing that like this organization put Frank in a really shitty position. LeBron potentially with his offseason GM moves put Frank in a really shitty position, knowing damn well, like everywhere else he's gone, that he'll be able to push out the head coach. And the only place that didn't work was in Miami when freaking Pat Riley had Eric Spoelstra's back, and Eric Spoelstra was a different coach. I get all of that. But I just think that, in my opinion, Frank's, like Dev said, he's totally the freaking scapegoat for so many more problems that are going on. And on paper, I get the offseason moves, but like we have freaking like, and I saw this earlier, like we got freaking like four guys we signed this offseason who are doing absolutely fucking nothing for us right now with like, and I can't remember the third guy's name, but it's Wayne Ellington, DeAndre Jordan, and somebody else who are literally worth jack shit.
Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Kendrick,
no, I don't
you know?
understand why. But the thing is, why is Frank starting Trevor Ariza then?
Yeah,
Why? He
I
had
can't.
0 points. He was 0 for 3.
And all I have to say
You have
about it,
THT, Malik Monk, and Carmelo on the bench. He didn't start any of them.
yeah, I think
Is that
I think all the things with THT are very valid, and I think all the things with his lineup, it's like, yeah, these are the questions that. I mean, it's like going back to our Cliff Kingsbury conversation. It's like these are the questions that need to be asked of the head coach that he needs to answer. And if the team's not winning, then yeah, that's probably going to be the reason he gets fired. But I don't think any Laker fan should let's say Frank gets fired on this road trip, these next 7 games or something like that. A, don't feel more optimistic about our season today. And B, I mean, depending on who we hire, depending on who's out there right now and stuff, don't really feel crazy optimistic about getting another ring in LeBron's tenure, and that makes me it makes me frantic as a casual Lakers fan who tunes in to watch these guys freaking win championships, so.
Yeah. Like the way I look at it is like, the trade deadline is coming up. I'm kind of like made peace with like the season in the sense that like trade deadline's coming up. They're not the 99% chance they're not going to trade Russ, right? What team is going to take that contract? So like, we're going to have the roster basically what it is for most of the season. The only way like is if LeBron, AD, and Russ can like really figure it out and like play together, then we could potentially make a run. But that's what we're banking on at this point because I don't think like there's a cavalry coming to like save us at all.
To both of you guys, like diehard Laker fans, at this point in the season, I know every season it's not championship or bust necessarily, but at the end of the day, especially with this squad, with LeBron, with Anthony Davis, it's championship or bust. At this point, what constitutes what would you walk away from the season happy with? Would you guys be okay with being booted in the conference finals versus the Warriors? You guys would be like that. That would be an okay season. You take them to 16.
Yeah, I would take that. But I don't know. People are talking like the Lakers don't even have a shot, and Anthony Davis is yet to come back, and
sorry, I just wanted to level set the expectations and then say, how are the Lakers, to both of you, how do they get there? Are they better off if they fire Frank Vogel today and keep the squad that they have with Fizdale or whoever or are they better off keeping, what gets them to that conference final 6th game, if that's what we're constituting as success,
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's just, I think it could be as easy as firing Frank Vogel.
Yeah.
Just because
seems
like you think that's like the answer to all the problems?
It would solve a lot of the problems, I think, especially just because I don't know. We have these guys, man, like Carmelo Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Those guys are superstars. Even though Carmelo's at the end of his career, these guys are bona fide, bucket getters, and Frank Vogel uses them in literally the worst way possible. And I don't want to bring out examples, but we've seen Anthony Davis on the left elbow way too many times on an ISO with LeBron, Russ, and just like 3 guys standing right next to each other. So I think a switch like that will really it's just like I don't know. I don't know if you guys would agree with me with this, but if you notice when teams like fire or trade a coach and they get a new coach in, they're always inspired and they play really I don't know, this inspired basketball, soccer, or whatever it is, just because it kind of lights a fire under them, and I think that would help the Lakers tremendously. And I don't know. Russ's jury's still out. He's a second half player, so
because of everything you say about lineup concerns with Vogel, it's I feel like this is, unfortunately, it is the perfect situation, like you say, to become that team that, like, yeah, if this becomes a whole new team the second half because Fizdale or something is playing THT more, it's like that's the kind of shit that gets a locker room together, and the play on the court is going to be a whole lot different. So, yeah, I think that's the easy choice, and I mean, when it's the most obvious choice, then it's the inevitable choice, So it might as well freaking happen.
I think it is inevitable. I would honestly be surprised if he made it through the whole season. And Bob, I think you're right about Frank not really knowing where to put AD and how to really use him. But I think that's a problem, and also just like early in the season, I think AD just was not playing up to par. Not playing up to his level. He started off kind of slow. He had some games where he was being really passive, and like he looked like a completely different player than what we saw in the bubble. So, how is he going to come back? How's he going to fit with Russ? There's just a lot of question marks in my opinion about this season so far, and our schedule is only going to get tougher, right? So, and to answer your earlier question, Reese, like, I would honestly be satisfied with like a second round knockout. I think like if say we lost the Grizzlies or something in the second round, I think that's fair. Like, they're a good team, probably like much better team than us right now.
Well, I know the pragmatic fan in you is like, okay, like that's who we are, but like you're not satisfied with that. You'd be pissed. Like you would A, be calling for players to be traded, and B, head coach ain't making it through that.
There's no way that the Grizzlies beat us 4 games with Anthony Davis.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like most fans would be happy with regardless getting booted versus the Warriors, maybe even the Suns.
Yeah.
Right. Like
I don't know what the mentality is, Suns versus Nuggets and stuff, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's going to be hard for them to get there. Like Dev just showed, I think a lot of Laker fans realize it's going to be freaking hard to get there.
Yeah. I mean,
don't know.
It's so stacked as we know. And like right now, like looking at the standings, Lakers are 7 games behind the 4th place Utah Jazz. So, it'll be hard to, get in that top 4. Let's assume they finish like somewhere in like the 6 to 5 range. Like you're playing the Grizzlies or the Jazz or the Nuggets in the first round, like maybe even the Warriors in the first round, like, and then assuming you win that game, you have to play the Suns or the Warriors in the second round. Like, I mean,
Is it even mathematically possible for us to make it to the conference finals against the Warriors?
I think we would need to be like the top 4 seed for us to get the conference finals, because otherwise the road would be way too hard.
Yeah, like right now we're, like I said, 7 games out of 4th place. There's a lot of games left, but
yeah, there's a lot of games left, man.
I personally, I think to focus more in on like what's really going on right now and like bringing this way back home, like that Pacers game where Frank Vogel benched Russ. And like, I've been probably one of the biggest critics, even from the start, of like, is this a good idea of like the whole Russ trade and stuff? I don't like, gosh, how do I put this? Like, you obviously have to do what's smart for your team always and stuff like that, but to a certain element, like that may have been a little bit too far in terms of how he handled it in game, and then being a savage post game is basically like, I think he knows where he stands, like he kind of like that to me was a man saying like, I think he thought he was going to get fired after that. So he didn't give a shit what he said in post game, and then he didn't get fired. He was like, shit, okay, guess I'm going to freaking Orlando, So yeah,
if we lose to Orlando, then there's going to be major talks. I mean, it was the right decision to bench Russ. THT he had like almost 20 points,
but to not play him, like, would you agree? Like, and I don't know, maybe this is something that happens a little bit more often than I realize, but like, is it that often in like a close game that he's just not going to play a freaking minute like that? Like, isn't that more of a statement than a rotational thing because of a player doing well?
It's a lot. I mean, especially in basketball rotations, you have to go with the hot hand if you're trying to win the game. Like if you're not trying to like work your stuff and trying to get the players better, like better team chemistry and stuff, you
No,
put out
oh,
the hotter
I agree
hand.
with that.
Huh?
But then, okay, but if that's the case, can't he be a little bit nicer to him post game and just be like, oh yeah, but
Yeah,
I just felt like THC, couldn't he play up
yeah, exactly.
THC more than it's like
Yeah.
it would
No,
just
no, no. But what you're saying about the post game is true. Like usually coaches won't say like after like
yeah,
kind of out him like that, but it was the right move.
all of it together felt spiteful to me. I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe he was speaking like a coach who thought, he was gonna get fired. So he was kind of just like, yeah, might as well let it loose.
I think
Okay.
he's surprised to be getting on that plane.
Reese, were you asking like, is it surprising about what Frank said after the game, or surprising that he benched Russ?
I was more so asking, like, is it normal? Like, does that like I know like
I feel like it honestly like is, I wouldn't say rare, but not often that like you bench a superstar like that in the final minutes of the
and not
game.
just a superstar, but like he's a pretty key rotational piece of that like team. Like he's gonna get in there to rotate guys. Like things like that. And I don't know if he's again. This is the basketball novice in me. I don't know if he's the direct rotational piece for that THC was just playing better for him, and there's no way to rotate them both in on that. Like I don't know on that string that they're on. Like I don't get all of that crap. That's why I don't, when I'm watching the games, I don't understand the bad lineups that he has and stuff like that. I just see, oh, these players are playing bad. This isn't, it's like, as a novice fan, as a lot of fans, I think that's what a lot of them see is, these guys aren't freaking playing well. And how do we fix this, And I just hear again, I just hear a lot of smarter talking heads who are just bringing up, like I said, just the larger questions that we have and stuff. So no, I'm not. I wasn't really asking about like anything in particular with that necessarily.
Okay, yeah. I mean, off the top of my head, I remember I think like DeRozan was benched in the playoffs a couple years ago when he was on the Raptors, and like sometimes you
That
see
was a lot
it,
of talk. Yeah.
but
But that, like, if that's a notable moment, then I feel like that says it all. And like I said, just that on top of the post game, just
right.
see, yeah, that's not a, yeah, that's not a good relationship right now.
Um,
Not a good relationship.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to add? As a
How
Patriots
does
fan,
how does Frank come home from this road trip?
yes, they get a win. Well, let me ask you this, Steph. Do you think the Lakers squad right now, how it is, has enough to win a chip
um,
with the AD healthy
I
and
think if
Kendrick
we're
Nunn healthy?
I think if we're playing at our absolute 100%, I think
Do you mean
just
like?
with the way was that?
Sorry, just to clarify, Bob, do you mean just in general, like, or like this season, can they win a chip if they're healthy?
Just how, considering how Frank is coaching right now, do you think with the players that we have, we could win a chip?
I think if we play to like our 100% potential, AD is looking like bubble AD. Russ is looking like this a superstar MVP caliber player. LeBron is playing like LeBron, like he has been. I think there's a chance, but my thing is like
So you're saying it has to take AD at bubble AD, one of the best ADs we've ever seen, LeBron playing MVP level, Russ playing MVP level for us to have a chance.
To
and
thanks
like
for summing that up, Bob, because I'm glad. No, because that needed to be said.
like when I say chance, I mean like a chance in the finals. Like obviously, like we're finals will be looking good, but like what I'm trying to get at is like yes, obviously those three levels are very high. I just think that like the NBA is very competitive right now, and like I just the odds of us getting 100% like Lakers team right now is very low in my opinion. Like unless they suddenly, just have a miraculous turnaround in the second half of the year. That's why I think the coaching is not really going to be the X factor in my opinion.
But isn't the coaching probably the only factor that can change? Like knowing that Russ is gonna have to be there. AD's gonna have to get healthy. Like we can't really control those two factors that are hurting against us right now. The
I
only
think
thing we can do is do that, probably change the head coach that's screwing up all these lineups, like you guys say, and play better rotations, get better camaraderie in that freaking locker room, and then maybe trade one of these random fuckers who's not doing anything for like somewhat of a piece that can turn into something,
yeah, like also a key thing, like
chance.
in the three stars, like play together, like share the ball, get enough shots for everyone, which is something that like Russ and LeBron I feel like just don't really fit.
Yeah, no, I don't know about the whole thing about Russ and LeBron not fitting just because everyone's like, oh, LeBron's a driver. Like LeBron's a shooter now. This fool's in like three threes a game, and Russ
He can
he's
do
a, he's
whatever
a
he wants.
slasher driver, just kind of how like D Wade is. D Wade was. Um, but I for about your point about can these three stars play with each other? I don't think it's like can they? They're superstars. Like they could play with each other. But I think that's more if if the coach can put them in positions where it's going to be like just give them a fighting chance. Like I don't know. This Vogel has never been known to be the best offensive mind in the league. He's always been that defensive guy and stuff like that. But even when he was with the Pacers, so I think we need to bring a different type of coach that's more offensive minded and could utilize the specialists that we have, like Carmelo, Malik, Russ, and the superstars like AD and LeBron.
Yeah, Bob, you mentioned him being a like a defensive coach, but like wouldn't you say, like, I think I said this in the group chat earlier, but like part of the problem is that we trade away like all of our best defensive players in the
Hmm.
offseason. So I think that's, obviously affected us. And now you bring in, a retirement home, Trevor Ariza, Dwight, obviously near the end of his career. Um, we've had Kendrick Nunn missing. DeAndre Jordan is on the team for some reason. Like it's just and then now you have Melo who like, can't stop a parked car. Like
Stop. He's so underrated as a defender.
um like
He's not
also
that he's not that good laterally, but he's good on the block.
yeah, like the part like one like watching Kuzma this year kind of makes me wonder like damn, did Frank not know how to use him properly, because like just seeing him pop off like that is kind of like,
Yeah.
what were we doing wrong? Like did he just not fit this team, or like
I saw somebody say that damn, the Lakers would really be a championship caliber team if they had Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Josh Hart on the squad right now. I was like, dude, can you think about it? They had all four of them right now. Like, if
Yeah.
things worked out perfectly and they ended up,
But I just wanted one of them. I would have Bi.
yeah, just
You
one.
could just have Bi. That'd be great. But anyone could hoop on the Wizards. Like that's why I don't know. Like this whole Kyle Kuzma popping off. Like good for him. I
Anybody,
like to see him playing well, but at the same time, like he's getting like almost 40 minutes a game. So
truthfully, it should be said that anybody should be able to hoop with LeBron. You should be able to just put your freaking head down, do whatever the guy fucking says, and get a fucking ring.
that's I don't know. Frank just got too used to that, and like now it's not that easy, dude. Like
It's not.
NBA's gotten tougher the last couple of
you
years.
know,
It is like, well, yeah.
and he's like lost a lot of his coaching staff from like previous seasons that obviously helped him on the coaching run, like Jason Kidd. Who's the other guy? The first year when they won the chip, I'm forgetting his name. It's an older dude. I'm blanking on his name. But yeah, so I don't know. I think that's affected Vogel a lot, and he's kind of like Fizdale. Yeah, all he really has is Fizdale, and Fizdale is a defensive coach too. So like, I don't know. I think that'll definitely just help the team. I don't know if LeBron even feels inspired by Frank anymore, or AD does. So
Yeah, I mean just a lot of a lot of question marks. Long season left. They can definitely right this shit. But as of right now, what's today's date? January 20th. I'm not expecting a lot from this Lakers season, unfortunately.
Fortunately, but LeBron's playing like MVP, so
Yeah, love to see
that's all
that
we could hang our hat on right now.
for sure.
And once AD
Not
comes
what we
back, it's gonna
wanted,
be,
though.
huh?
That's not what we wanted, though.
It's not. We'll
If we
see how
could,
AD looks when he comes back. Okay, then we
okay.
can talk.
So perfect culmination of things. 80 comes back healthy, and I
Frank
know,
gets fired.
yeah, I realize that. Like, I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna, like, the guy brought us to ship, and when I remember watching, there's a video of it. Melina has a video of me watching that ceremony where they were all getting their rings and stuff like that on opening night. And dude, like, I feel like, I was happy for all of the guys and stuff like that, but I got the most emotional for Frank just because it's like that's just like the career journey that you got to go on as like a head coach a lot of the time. It's like that just like hits home a lot for me, like.
Yeah, especially for him because he got fired from the Pacers.
Yeah.
He couldn't get another job, and then he got the job with the Lakers and got us a chip. So
Yeah.
love him for that.
And he did a lot to change that defense and stuff. So I'll definitely be sad when he gets fired, but it seems like in this conversation, like all the questions, the answers were like, oh, okay, lineup changes or, changing this in like, and really the only thing you can change is the head coach. So like, yeah, it's probably going to be him. And I just hope that meeting with his, whoever's there, if it's Jeannie and Rob, I would hope so, that it's both of them, that they're pretty damn gracious to him.
Yeah.
Brought us 17, so.
Yeah, that's true. Before we wrap up, do you guys have any like a midway point MVP that you would pick right now?
For the NBA?
Yeah.
Not the NFL, dog.
Yeah, it's, everyone knows that's Rodgers. That's easy.
Yeah, no, I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead, Bob.
Wow. If this was the whole, like, I don't know. I want to say DeMar DeRozan just because he's had a couple game winners, back to back. He's playing out of his mind. But I want to give it to Giannis because he's been hooping too, and he's kind of just more of a superstar.
I feel like it's a close race, and like it's a shame that KD got hurt and he's gonna be out for about a month or so, because that basically takes him out of it, I think. But man, I think I'm gonna give a slight nod to Joker, just right over Giannis. Joker's been playing like out of his mind, even with all the injuries that the Nuggets have. He's having a career year, just like putting up ridiculous numbers every single game. I think he had like 49 and 15 or something a couple of games ago. And he's just like, having 26, 14, and 7 this year, which is absurd.
Can I say one thing about Joker though? He's a great talent, but for me to say he's an MVP, it's kind of tough just because I don't know. He's kind of weak on the defensive end. Like Zubac, I saw the game yesterday. Zubac dropped almost like 40 on him.
It's not a defensive player of the year award though.
It's true. And he won MVP last year, Bob.
Yeah, I'm just saying your most valuable player can't be an only offensive guy. Like Giannis is a deserving MVP because he, locks down the rim and he also drops like 30.
Yeah, Giannis.
That's just my opinion though. Joker's, he does other things like, pass the ball a lot better and stuff. So
yeah, I just think his contributions on the offensive, and the dude gives me hope that I can go out there and play with you guys again. And I can be an all-star, like he just just the way he plays the game is just so like how are these guys not like stopping this?
Yeah.
Like every time I watch it, I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like they're like, I just feel like the defense is like fucking around, and they're just like they're purposefully like making this guy look like a fucking superstar. You know, like it's kind of fucking ridiculous what he does. So yeah, that's why I was gonna say Joker, but I feel like what Bobby brought up about like I don't know. I feel like that's just like a broader conversation about like the MVP award, you know, like how much do you hate on a guy or play it to a guy defensive performance, you know? Like if they can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like is a guy like did Steph get blamed for that in his unanimous, you know, in his back-to-back years?
Right.
Probably
Yeah.
not, but
like his offense outweighed, whatever deficiencies he had on defense.
exactly. And that's the way I see Joker is like I don't really give a shit what he does on the defensive side.
Yeah.
But is he like that exposed? Who's a worse defender who's a worse defender for their position and like more exposed for their team? Steph or Jokic?
I mean, I feel like just based on size, I would say Steph is a worse defender.
You could take
But
more.
he's talking about at their position, so like
at their
guarding other
position.
guards.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Bob?
It's a tough one. I would probably say Steph is a more of a liability. But
Especially
it's not to
because
say
guard play is insane in the NBA, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say just the way the NBA is set up, he's more of a liability, but then also for the respective positions, I feel like that probably says a lot about those MVPs that he fucking got and just what he freaking did.
Right.
And
that's like, I think in the playoffs, like, having just a monster like Giannis, like he's such a matchup problem that like he can take over like we saw in the finals. So this is like this is not what we're talking about, but this is why I think the Bucks are like not a lock, but like definitely the favorites right now in my opinion to make the finals from the East. Because if you have Giannis and just unleashed, like who's stopping that right now?
Yeah.
And you don't trust these guys that are playing well, right? I mean, as much as you'd love it for the story if like the Bulls did something fun or it's like it's just I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they're first place right now. Definitely a fun story.
Yeah.
I want to see the record against the top teams in the East. Like
that's what I'm saying. In the playoffs in a 7-game series, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like a week ago they got waxed by the Bucks.
Right. Like just having Levine and DeRozan, they're like below average defenders is asking a lot from the rest of your team.
Oh yeah, and what's his name got hurt? Lonzo.
Yeah, Lonzo's gonna be out for 6 to 8 weeks. So, the Heat I think are like a more likely option. I think to like pull on an upset. We've seen it before. You have a stout defense with Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam. So, I think they might be able to sneak something, but. We'll see. Obviously, the Nets are always there.
What's going on with the Sixers this year?
It's basically just the Philadelphia Joel Embiid.
I was gonna say they've been like weirdly like, especially for like, because Joel's like not really like I don't know. It's so confusing because the 76ers are normally so loud and
should we
so loud.
Sorry, Rees, should we wrap up and just do this off?
Yeah, I'm 100%.
Because I don't know who's gonna be listening at this point.
Well, yeah. That, at this point, that's why I just kept going.
But like to thank Rees and Bob as always for being on the show. Appreciate you guys for listening. Catch us on our socials, DJ Sports Podcast, and we'll catch you guys next time. Next week we'll be talking about the conference championship and which teams will be making the Super Bowl. So be sure to check that one.
Go Pack, go.